Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Acupuncture is My Life, Eastern Nutrition. Now in today's episode, I want to discuss, as requested, an interesting topic from Mariam from Pakistan. We'd engaged in a private chat session on the Acupuncture is My Life app. And remember, if you want a topic discussed, topic of interest relative to your diet, your overall health, acupuncture, download the Acupuncture is My Life app and you can submit your request at any time. And we potentially discuss it over a future podcast after having conducted some research to attest to the validity of, your recommendation. But anyway, I'd engaged in an extensive conversation with Mariam from Pakistan. And it was pretty interesting because she found herself getting sick from her favorite fruit, which is apples. And she was wondering why. She had gone, to see her doctor and was really concerned. She saw a gastroenterologist, so forth and so on, and they couldn't find anything wrong. Her CBCs, her blood work came back normal. She's 23 years of age and couldn't understand for quite a few weeks as to what was going on. And one day someone had recommended in Pakistan that she contact Acupuncture is My Life, Eastern Nutrition Coaching, and discuss it to see, what can come of, what's going on with her. And after my discussion with her, I sat down with Chef Kiara via Zoom chat, and she'd explained, Chef Kiara explained basically what was going on, how eating too many apples on any particular day, any given day, can lead to some serious digestive side effects, and that's what's going on with her. So after speaking with Chef Kiara, I mean, we had a lengthy discussion about it. This is new to me, and she'd sent over some research to support our discussion, and I found it quite surprising. So just learning that the acidity in apples can actually worsen digestive disorders that a person may be experiencing first and foremost. Because we hear the saying, apple a day helps keep the doctor away. But, that's an apple a day, where as Mariam, that being her favorite fruit, she consumes an apple 2 to 3 times a day. And, in the past, years ago, she had suffered, not too long, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was like 5 years ago, she was dealing with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. And she was put on medication and, things cleared up. She wasn't experiencing symptoms of IBS over the past 2 years, and she felt, she was fine. And changed her diet, became vegan, and she just eats fruits and veggies. And apple being her favorite, found herself consuming, 2 to 3 apples a day. There's been cases where she would replace meals with it, and sometimes it'll be 4 apples. And felt, even periodically, she felt that because she changed her diet, that change was causing acid reflux, and she felt that it would only be temporary until she'd realized this was going on way too long. So going to see her regular doctor and then seeing a specialist, a gastroenterologist, and them not being able to find out what's going on. Again, having been told by a friend of hers in Pakistan with her contact Acupuncture's My Life Eastern Nutrition, she did. And the case here is, at our clinic, we deal a lot with cases of acid reflux, as some would call it heartburn, and there's certain points. I have my favorite points in dealing with that, and my favorite acupuncture point in treating that is Gershu, which is on the bladder meridian, and it expands the chest and the diaphragm, and it strengthens deficient conditions in the chest. And I also like to use acupuncture point Shengwan, which is conception vessel 13, to regulate the stomach and transform any type of turbidity and what have you. And those points, along with other supporting points, acupuncture points, helped a lot. But the acidic aspect of apples, it could slip under the radar because it's a sweet tasting fruit loaded with sugar. And we really, really have to be careful because, as Chef Kiara said, a lot of people that consume too many apples tend to feel bloated, because, again, the high sugar content. A lot of people feel that all fruits and vegetables benefit digestion, but that's not the case. There are certain fruits and vegetables that some people can't handle. Their system can't handle that. The high sugar content of apples, it can really leave you dealing with some unpleasant gastrointestinal side effects. So you have to be careful because, again, apples are high in fructose. And if you have sensitivity to fructose, it's best that you try and avoid apples and choose another fruit. And this is why I'm saying, not every fruit or vegetable can be tolerated by everyone. Our constitutions are different. And I say this over and over in many episodes of the podcast of Acupuncture's My Life. Now, what happens here is, if you're sensitive to fructose, it can lead to malabsorption and increase in gas, or you can feel gassy from the bacteria that ferments in the sugars in the large intestine. So you have to be careful. Now, another fallout to consuming too many apples, brought to my attention by Chef Kiara, is it can spike your blood sugar. Because if you're diabetic or you're sensitive to blood sugar fluctuations, eating more than one apple per day can really send your blood sugar soaring. And at the Acupuncture's My Life Clinic, I myself, as well as some of my colleagues, have dealt with this problem, spiking blood sugar levels. And one of my favorite acupuncture points is Zusan Li to help regulate blood sugar levels. So that's key, because blood sugar spikes can precipitate a variety of undesired symptoms ranging, let's say, from fatigue to headaches to increased thirst or hunger. And people will experience sudden fatigue or sudden headaches. They don't know where it came from. And feeling, well, hey, I had an apple just now, or I had one this morning, and then one snacking right before lunch, and now I have this terrible headache. Is it because I didn't have my coffee this morning, or I had too much coffee? You don't know. It can be as a result of that extra apple. It can be. Even feeling fatigued all of a sudden. And sometimes, we can feel we consumed enough water for the day or that particular time of day, and then boom, I'm thirsty again. So it's just be careful and be conscious over and over as to what you put in your mouth, because you can also feel that you're eating healthy, but this was discussed in past episodes. Too much of anything can be no good. It can be healthy if consumed in moderation. But just because you like it doesn't mean, you need to go overboard. And eating a lot of apples per day can send you to the bathroom a lot. Now, that was a point that Chef Kiara brought up from the Eastern Nutrition Division here at Acupuncture's My Life. And we kind of, got into a little debate about it, because the fiber content, I feel elimination is great, just keeping your intestinal tract clear. And I'm not speaking in absolute terms right now, but to move your bowels, and as well as urinating, you're detoxing constantly. It becomes a problem when you begin to see undigested food in your stool, and so forth and so on. So, that's just another sign that you may be ingesting too many apples. Another sign is stomach aches. All of a sudden, not immediately after ingesting the second, third, or fourth apple for the day, but shortly after, stomach aches. It's just best to limit your apple consumption, and you don't have to eat an apple every day. You can eat it 4 times a week, 1 per day, 4 times a week, 6 times a week. You don't necessarily have to ingest an apple every day. But I'm sure it'll be surprising to many that consuming apples does have side effects. And I'm sure after some hearing this podcast, it can answer a lot pertaining to their gastrointestinal disorders if they consume a lot of apples. And doctors, their specialists or their regular doctor couldn't find out what's wrong. So think about it. Think about putting or ingesting, eating more than 1 apple per day. How this can be the cause of certain problems. Even symptoms, as I've stated, such as fatigue, headaches, increased thirst and hunger, that can play a part. Consumption of too many apples can precipitate those symptoms. So it's definitely something to think about. And again, guys, don't stop requesting a discussion on certain topics. Just download the Acupuncture's My Life app from the Google Play Store. And these conversations are great, and we find that it helps so many people globally. And we have tons of topics waiting to be discussed. But along with that, follow us on every social media platform And under Acupuncture is My Life, and under Twitter, we're Acu_is_my_life. So, there's a lot of information to gain from doing it. Follow us on YouTube. We run YouTube new episodes every week, sometimes twice a week, 2 episodes per week, along with the podcast. There's a lot of free information out there for you guys. Go to Acupuncture is My Life and subscribe to the Acupuncture is My Life weekly newsletter, because it's on acupunctureismylife.com. We already have over 19,000 subscribers globally and growing. So there's tons of information there too that you can benefit from. But other than that, tune in next week for another awesome episode of Acupuncture is My Life Eastern Nutrition to learn how you can also utilize food as medicine. It's just that this case, too much of a certain food can be bad for you. So be careful. Everything in moderation. Tons of good food out there. And as you continue to listen to the Acupuncture is My Life Eastern Nutrition episodes, there's a lot that you'll learn. And, balance is important. Everything in moderation. You are what you eat, and health is wealth. But until next time, Acupuncture is my life. What's yours?